Hey everyone, author Stephanie Welch here, coming at you with another book review. It's been a little while since my last one because I'm still busily working away on finishing the third book of my series. The second book is out, yay! Chains of Darkness is out. It is on Amazon for purchase and for Kindle e-readers as well. I do not have a copy of it for myself yet. So much fun. But do check it out. It is on Amazon, and I'm very excited about it. It is getting awesome feedback so far, and I'm extremely thrilled. Just been really busy trying to finish up the third one. More than halfway through. Yay! So I'll be pumping that out as soon as I possibly can, hopefully no later than the end of July, because I am going to be at some indie author events coming up soon in my local area and also up in Atlanta in October. More about that later. So let's go ahead and get started with this week's book. Boom! Circe by Madeline Miller. So, basic facts about this book. It is a retelling of a mythology, a fictional retelling of a mythology. So we all know how mythology goes. You read a story more of a hero, and then you just get the other gods or other heroes or other demigods that are connected to that hero's one story. And if you actually try to sit down and timeline the mythology of gods and demigods throughout Greek and even Roman mythology, it's really muddled. And it's really hard to say, well, how is this person, I don't understand, like, how did this make sense to them? Because these stories don't even make sense to me. How did they come up with these and make it make sense? So that is what Madeline Miller attempts to do. Now, this is not her only book. She also has another one called Song of Achilles, and that one does follow the story of the hero Achilles. And then she also has another one that is also a Greek mythology as well. I cannot remember the name of it. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, Song of Achilles is the only one that I have in here, but I want to say there is a third one, but I can't remember what it is. So this one is about Circe, which, if you don't know much about the mythology of Circe, she is kind of the origin of witches and magic that mortals can perform without the aid of the gods. And this was very interesting. You can tell that Madeline did a lot of research for this, heavy, intense research to make this happen and to make the stories line up and to make it, realistic. So just some basic facts. It is 385 pages, so not a horribly in-depth read. Like I said, I really appreciate it. It seems like she did a lot of research, and I really appreciate it. The story, like I said, follows Circe from her beginning origins, how Circe was born, that she is a Titan and not an Olympian, which is very much something that they make clear in this book. It talks a lot about the relationship between Titans and Olympians, the relationship between Titans and heroes and each other, and how they work, and the politics behind Greek mythology, celestial mythology. Like I said, it doesn't really focus too much on the heroes, which is very interesting because in Greek mythology, we all know the Odyssey and Odysseus, which, by the way, he is a huge character in this book, because if you know anything about the Odyssey, Circe is in there. However, I will say it's not a linchpin. I mean, it's important to the book, but it's not. It doesn't focus on Odysseus. It focuses on Circe, which I appreciated because, if you ever read the Odyssey and really studied the Odyssey, you don't really like Odysseus. You don't really like him that much. I mean, if you've read excerpts, you're like, oh, Odysseus, the great hero, the great thinker, comes up with, he's a great planner, came up with the Trojan horse, ended the Spartan War. But if you actually get into the psychology behind who Odysseus was, you really don't liking too much. And that goes more into this. This book goes more into the psychology behind Odysseus and Jason and the Argonauts, and so many different characters that we'll recognize, but we sit there going, oh man, that's so right. Yes, there is some creative license in the book, as with every fiction book, but Madeline, I'm going to call her Madeline, just because that's how I look at it. Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, Miss Miller, oops. But she really toes that line of creative license with actual documented mythology. I can't say realistic because we all know mythology didn't, really happen that way, but to an extent. But she toes the line really, really well between creative license and actual, mythology, which I appreciate greatly. She really gets into the psychology of the other Olympian gods and the Titan gods, and I really did appreciate it. It is, so some cons. It is not for everyone. It's not slow, but because it's very psychological and emotional, it's not very action packed. So if you're looking for like a thrill read, this is not it. This is definitely more of a metaphysical, inward thinking type of book. It is not a thriller. It is not a crime. It is not anything, like twists and turns. It is very much just a woman's story. I will be honest, I did put it down. Actually, you can probably tell exactly. Yeah, you can tell where I exactly put it down because you can see the crease of where I did it. I put it down around page like 300 or so, and I put it down for like 10 days. And I'll be honest, I wasn't like driven to pick it back up, like, ooh, I got to know what's next. It was one of more of those, oh, I really want to join Circe on the end of her story. It was more of just like a comfort. I really would like to know the end. I need to finish this. But it wasn't like, I need to know. You just pick up those books where, it's 11 o'clock at night and you go, one more chapter. Next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. You finish the book. Whoops. It's not one of those. But it's also not a beach read. It's not an easy beach read either. It is definitely a psychological, metaphysical, understanding yourself, understanding the character of Circe, and really getting to know her. So if you like those more coming of age, but not a lot of action, then you would like this. If you're very much, I have to be entertained, constant, action, this is not going to be the book for you. Overall, I liked it. The character development was good. I did not really find that many plot holes. In fact, I really didn't find any. As with mythology, there are plot holes. Anybody who studied mythology knows there's plot holes in just mythology. But Ms. Miller really seemed to do a good job kind of filling in those gaps of where we might have had questions about Circe. What was she doing during these times? How is she related to like these heroes, like her story? How do they intertwine? She does a really good job intertwining the stories of all the heroes, where if you read them from the hero perspective, she's mentioned, but she's not important. This is Miss Miller plucking all of those times where Circe is mentioned and making it a solid timeline, which I appreciate. She did a great job with it. So if you like that type of work, I absolutely suggest you pick it up. I did enjoy it. This very well could be something that I read another time. I'm not a big reader of multiple times book. I'm a one and done most of the time. But this may be something that one day I pick up again. I have not purchased the Song of Achilles. Nope, I have not purchased that. It's really bad when you have to check your library to make sure you haven't purchased a book. Because I've done that before. I've double purchased books on accident. I've not purchased the Song of Achilles. I am going to purchase the Song of Achilles because I did enjoy Circe and I like the way it was written. I don't really care for Achilles' story. I'm not a war type person. Circe's story is actually much more interesting to me than Achilles, but I've heard nothing but fantastic reviews of the Achilles book. So therefore, because I enjoyed Miss Miller's writing of Circe, I will definitely give Achilles a shot. even though that's not really my style. I'm not a big war person, you know, battle and war are not my thing, but I'm willing to give it a shot because Miss Miller really did hook me in well with her writing of Circe's retelling. So that is Circe. Again, it is available pretty much everywhere. Amazon, bookstore, local bookstore, chain bookstore, anywhere you can find it. I got it for, this says $17. Sounds about right. On the back of her book is a little bit more about her. Oh yeah, her first novel, Song of Achilles, was awarded the Orange Prize for Fiction and it's been translated into 25 languages. So this actually wasn't her first one. Achilles was the first one. That's what I'm saying. I think there is a third one out there. I just, for the life of me, cannot remember what it is right now. Huh. Anyway, but you can follow her on Twitter and Facebook at Miller Madeline, or Facebook at Miller Madeline. Madeline. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I hate not knowing how to say someone's book. I probably should have looked that up ahead of time. Oops. But yeah, Circe, fantastic read. It's not graphic. This one, I think that's a little why I'm a little nervous about starting Achilles, because it is a war. So I'm a little worried it's going to be graphic. I'm just not big into graphic and people dying and blood and guts absolutely everywhere. It's not my favorite thing. It's not my favorite thing to write. Although you'll be shocked at the third book. Oh God, I probably should rewrite that. But I think that's why I'm a little nervous about reading Achilles. But there's no like immensely graphic sexual scenes. I mean, it's hinted to very cleanly, chastely hinted to. I mean, there's babies born, guys. We all know what that means. But no, she doesn't really get into all of that graphic stuff. It's just unnecessary, and it really takes away from the story of Circe as her own woman by over-sexualizing her. And thankfully, Miss Miller did not do that. I was kind of a little worried that she would do that because it's Olympians. For crying out loud, it's Olympians. But she doesn't do it. So good for you, Miss Miller, for keeping it clean and classy. Thank you. But yeah, Circe by Madeline. I'm just going to pick Madeline Miller. Absolutely fantastic. It was a New York Times #1 bestseller, and I absolutely agree that it should be there. One last time. Before we go, got to do my shout out. Boom, Into the Darkness series. Book 1, Stones of Destiny, out on Amazon. Number 2, Chains of Darkness. It is the black one. Is also out on Amazon. Very excited about that. And the last one is a-coming. I promise. I am getting them out as fast as I can. So yeah, that's it. Comments, questions, or suggestions for the next book I should read. I do have a pile of books that I plan on reading. Oh, look! Hey! Song of Achilles was in there! I guess I'm reading that one next. See, this is what I mean. Check your bookshelves before you go buy books. You just never know what you may have. So, yeah. So, guess I'll be reading this next. So, yeah, this is Song of Achilles, the next one. I'll be reading that next. Forgot I had that. That's horrible. That's terrible. I should totally fix that. So, yeah. Song of Achilles will be the next one I do. I'll be starting reading that within the next couple days, and I'll get back to you with my review on that one. Again, comments, questions, or suggestions for books that you would like to see me read and review. I promise you it takes me forever to put up reviews, not because I take forever to read, but because my life is craziness. So I read when I can, and we all know how that feels. But thanks again, guys. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and like and subscribe to my author page for more of these reviews. Thanks.